Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pouring Takes with your hosts Charlie and Rhea. Today, the part of Rhea will be played by Brandon Kerr.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pouring Takes podcast here at Underdog Restaurant and Sports Club. I'm Charlie Van, and as always, our special guest co-host Brandon Kerr. Brandon, thank you.
Awesome. I'm becoming the permanent fill-in.
You
when one
are.
of can't
You
make
are.
it.
Well,
Which I'm okay with.
Hey, we appreciate you coming in, talking sports. We'll be talking some wrestling. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
right. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
It is pretty much a holiday that I have not celebrated in yet today.
Yeah?
I see y'all are partaking, but I have not.
A little bit, yeah. So, and it's also for Star Wars fans out there, Revenge of the 5th. Yesterday was National Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with everybody. So it's a great day here. We are drinking. So, Tanner, I'm drinking a non-alcoholic beer. I've been a little bit under the weather past couple of weeks, so on antibiotics, but still, nonetheless, it is a beer. So, cheers, guys.
Mine is not. Mine is water, but I needed it.
Lame. Nobody's drinking on the drinking podcast today.
Well, you know, I think we've done a lot of drinking on the drinking.
I feel you. I'm
was a
also
busy
drinking
weekend.
non-alcoholics, but I have these little drops, these Delta 9 drops I got from the store,
Oh,
so I can still catch a buzz.
there you
All
go.
right.
So he will find a
Found
way.
a workaround.
That's right.
The alternative. Well, we
Feel
are
good all the time.
that is good.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, we're glad to be back. You know, we've been out for about a week. Oh, now it's raining out there.
It's
It
been
is.
pouring for the past week.
There you go. Pouring takes.
Pouring takes.
There you
Cheers. Cheers. So we got a few things to get into. I think we got some stars. We got some
Oh, yeah.
Rangers.
Hot topic on the stars.
We got a lot of wrestling. You guys are really talking about
I
some
know.
wrestling
We did a whole
today.
podcast before we started this podcast
Yeah.
about wrestling. I think
get me down that
I think Brandon and
wormhole.
I are about to join WWE Creative here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, if
That's
they want to
right.
hire me as a writer, I would be perfect for that job.
You down in Muna,
Just
Connecticut?
like everybody on the internet thinks they are.
I know. The wrestling internet community.
Yeah, the IWC. They're full of
IWC.
people that would love that job and think they deserve that job.
Hell yeah.
Well, we got a lot to talk about, so we're excited to be back here.
But first,
Yeah.
do you have a product or an extremely hot take that everybody needs to know about? Contact us at admin@pouringtakes.com, and we'll make that dream come true for you. Consistent viewership, consistent 4-digit viewership, working our way up. Give us a call, man. admin@pouringtakes.com. First, Charlie, how was your weekend, buddy? And week.
Oh man, week was quite rough. Almost rough 2 weeks. Just being under the weather, just bronchitis.
No.
Yeah, so I was doing the Dallas International Film Festival. And of course, about 2 weeks ago, we saw that I was kind of under the weather. I thought it was just really bad allergies. So I was doing the festival, pushing through. But I was like, man, I really feel not great. And your body will
Getcha.
let you know. And then just horrible cough, and then found out, unfortunately, bronchitis. So, chilled, watched hockey. This weekend was actually just nice. Slept like a rock. Watched the Stars kick ass. We'll get into that in a second. And watched the Star Wars original trilogy all day yesterday.
Oh, that is
Nice.
a day.
Yeah. So it was just nice. What
I
about
don't know the last time I've watched that thing. It's probably been 10 years.
Every year,
Maybe 15.
Every year on May the 4th, unless if it's on obviously a weekday, I watch it. So,
Nothing wrong with that.
what about you, Brandon? What did you do?
Oh, this weekend was busy. Bunch of nerd stuff for me because Saturday, my dad has been hounding me because the card show is in town.
Oh,
And he's super into the cards.
Yeah.
So am I, but I play it up like he's more into it than I am, which is not true. But I just pretend that.
What kind of cards?
Like baseball cards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay, awesome.
The nerdy stuff,
Oh,
right?
badass.
So that was up in Allen. So we went up there on Saturday. Lot of vintage stuff, right? So like I went in there like I'm gonna buy some Otanis, I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
some Ellies. There was some, but it was a lot of like Mantles and Willie Mays and Hank Aaron stuff, right?
There you
Which
go.
sometimes can be out of the depths of what I'm willing to pay.
Especially you talking about the maze, the manuals.
Yeah, I'm swimming out of my depths
Yeah.
on some of these. I'm like, ooh, that's nice. How much is that? $800. That's our cheapest. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. Oh, here's an Otani autographed. 14,000. Okay, that's awesome.
14,000.
Yeah, this is the most expensive hobby I've ever been into. It is so expensive.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, bought a couple things. Bought a Griffey rookie card.
There you
and
go.
A very nerdy comic book.
Oh, what was the comic book?
I got the Batman Nightfall 11.
Oh,
where
I love Nightfall.
Where he got his back broken by
Yep.
Bane.
Yep, that's a great one.
Yeah, so it was graded
Nice.
at 9.6. I was like, I used to have this when I was growing up, so.
Remember the one where him and Azrael? I love
Oh,
Azrael.
yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love those. I can go
Yeah, the whole
Batman all
Nightfall
day.
series.
You
Yeah.
guys are nerds.
Dude, I'll nerd out all day.
I'm a huge Batman
Yeah.
comic.
So that was fun, and then saw the Thunderbolts. Also
How was
nerdy.
that?
Liked it. I liked it a lot
A,
for MCU.
B?
Oh, A,
A?
for sure.
Okay.
Florence Pugh. I would quit
She's an A
talking-
by herself.
Yeah, I would quit talking to everybody in my life if she made me. If she's like, hey, you can't talk to any of your friends ever again, I'll be like, peace, guys. Sorry.
Later, dude.
Later. And then a bunch of hockey.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good weekend.
I did
That's
not watch Star Wars all day yesterday, but I did not leave the couch.
There you go.
Hey, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Tanner, what did you do?
Man, I did a lot of gardening.
Nice.
I saw Sinners.
How was
Ooh,
that?
Sinners is
Heard
great.
good things?
I liked it. I want to say that I liked it and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that it's without criticism.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was dope. Sinners super fun. You should definitely go see it. It's a lot of movies.
How was Haley Steinfeld, Josh Allen's fiance?
She was fine.
Yeah.
yeah. I thought
She was
good.
fine.
I
My-
liked that movie. I thought it was fun. I thought
Was
it was really well done. It was basically Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I love that movie.
Which there's nothing wrong with,
yeah.
but just
There's a lot
You
of
know,
movies in that movie.
there is a lot of movies in that movie.
Well, I'm happy for Michael B. Jordan getting a lot. I remember him on Friday Night Lights, and to go from there, and now all these starring roles. So
Yeah, man. He's a good dude. He was
Yeah,
great
he
in this
seems to
movie
be-
as Smoking Stack.
He seems to be Ryan Coogler's guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like Ryan Coogler, every
Oh.
movie he makes, it's Michael
Fruit-
B. Jordan.
yeah, it started with Fruitville Station. So great movie, by the way.
Which, when you're a director like that and you find your guy,
That's right.
stick with him.
Everyone does.
I mean,
Everyone does.
Tarantino had Uma
Uma,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. He had a handful.
and Samuel
I-
L. Jackson and, you know,
The crew, the stockade.
a bunch of people.
Speaking of actors, Tanner, I know you might have, both of you probably saw this on my Instagram. This is probably now
I
2
did.
weekends ago, but got to interview Martin Cove, John Kreese, Karate Kid,
Okay.
Cobra Kai.
I
Yeah,
saw
man.
that.
Karate Kid is one of my inspirations getting into martial arts, so that was awesome. He didn't sweep the leg, so that was okay.
Get him a body bag. Yeah.
Is he going to be in the new Karate Kid movie?
I
Is he in Legends?
don't think so. He was
Oh.
there. He was at the USA
Okay.
Film Festival promoting. It was Death Race 2000, which came out in
Oh, okay, yeah,
1975.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they were re-premiering that. So
On this new Karate Kid crossover, is it going to include the Cobra Kai verse?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, I know.
I don't know.
What's his name?
Ralph
Yeah,
Macchio?
Ralph
Macchio,
Macchio's in
couldn't
it.
think of his
Yes.
name.
Yeah.
He's in it, but that's the only person I saw from that universe. I didn't even see
Johnny Lawrence. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I don't
so-
think so, but I
I've
could
only
be
seen
wrong.
The preview once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
That's as much as I need to see a preview. I don't try to live on those.
I mean, anything could happen. I'm sure they wouldn't want to spoil it
Yeah, they're
if
not
something
gonna show everything,
happens.
I don't think.
But
Well, I hope so. Shouts out to Johnny.
so. But
What was movie night on Saturday? I missed it.
We did the Insane Clown Posse Big Money Rustlers.
really, was that good?
Never heard of it. I bet it's amazing.
I forgot they were involved with pro wrestling back in the day.
Oh,
that-
yeah, they were.
Yeah, Razor Ramon is a
WCW.
character in it.
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Fantastic. Highly recommend.
Okay.
It is stupid. It is exactly what you wanted it to be.
All right. I need to. I'll never get around to watching that. If I
So,
missed it at
Was that
your
before
house-
Ready to Rumble?
I don't know. It was 2010 was
Okay, never
Big Money
mind.
Rustlers. There's
Okay.
another movie that's in 2000 called Big Money Hustlers,
Oh, there you go.
All right,
which I
so
would
this is a
also like to
sequel.
see.
This is a sequel to
Prequel.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy. Yeah. Movie night was a rousing success.
I hate that I missed it.
Sounds like it.
All right, let's get into it. What do we got first, Charlie?
All right. Well, I'm wearing the shirt right here,
Oh,
or the
yeah.
polo, I should say. Dallas Stars, Saturday night, close out the series over the Colorado Avalanche. And man, guys, what a Game 7. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen in a long
Roller
time.
coaster.
Yeah, and I'm happy we're on the positive side of
Yeah.
it. But, Brandon, they're down 2-0. What were your thoughts? What were you feeling?
I thought it was death nail.
Yeah,
like,
me
right at the
too,
beginning of
me
the third,
too.
when they scored and went up 2-0, I was like, like this is gonna be tough, right? And like I said, roller coaster. Nothing more exciting than Game 7 in hockey. But Mikko came to play.
Best trade.
Yeah.
We might have had a worse trade in Dallas, but we also had a best trade
Yeah,
in
it was-
Dallas.
yeah.
And here's the thing, and Brandon knows this, and maybe I've been like this on the show, that I've been critical of our coach, not because I think he's a bad coach, because of some of the
Yeah.
poor adjustments in the past, and then that slump. I mean, we were all a little nervous. Like,
yeah,
this
we
is
all
abnormal.
went into the playoffs on a downer.
Yeah,
Right? We all
and-
were very
and I-
skeptical.
and I felt like he needed a big round one.
Yeah.
And they made those adjustments and typically this is a game they lose when they're down like that.
Yeah, especially with that slump being their third period being their Achilles heel, right? Like you saw them give up 3 goals in a minute or whatever it was against Edmonton, I think,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Ottawa or whoever. It
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
That's awful.
It-
That is historically bad stuff.
But historically, as of right now, Pete DeBoer is now 9-0 in Game 7.
You can't ignore that.
Which is crazy.
It won't last forever.
It
Can't
won't last
but
forever.
hopefully, it lasts through his tenure in
Yeah.
Dallas.
But I think a big part of that is when you have a guy like Mikko Rantanen, and that's why you trade for him, and he is
Yeah.
worth all the money. I mean, a hat trick, a triple hat trick, and that's a guy who put that team on his back of his shoulder, on his back. Of course, Wyatt Johnson had a beautiful goal
Yeah.
as well. But here's one guy not getting enough praise, Oettinger.
Oettinger was fantastic. Oettinger, it's such a divisive position.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard it as it's compared to a quarterback. Right. They just get all the blame when things don't go well. Right. So no matter how good the goalie is, if you're not winning, get him out of town.
Yeah.
We're done with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy can't win. Right. Okay. But I think Oettinger has the ability to get to that next level. Right. So he was fantastic.
I mean, his confidence has gotten better and
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, no, I think so. And, if you can get some defense in front of him with Miro coming back, hopefully soon,
Yeah.
everybody needs to step up, and they'll look better in front of him, right? Which is key to any goalie. You need that defense in front of you.
And our front line got to speak volumes with them just playing so hard. And once again, I think this really showed just all around. Everybody made their adjustments. Everybody was aggressive. Even in that first period where scoreless, it was tense. But defense, I felt, did really, really good. So, and, they weren't shaken. And they really rallied. And
They
I
didn't
mean,
let the game get away from them.
they didn't. They kept right in their face.
Yep.
I also think Colorado had several penalties that really were killer for them as
Yeah.
well. But we took advantage of that.
Yeah, as a fan base, we
Yeah.
were probably way more down on the dumps than they were.
As
the team.
And that just tells you, and that's why I do have to give, kudos to Pete DeBoer
Yeah.
because this team did not quit.
Nope.
And they stayed in it, and they made adjustments. Now we'll see moving forward. But once again, it's so good to have a guy like Mikko.
That second goal, the wraparound,
Yeah.
where
Amazing.
There's a little luck. There's
Yeah,
a
a little luck.
Hit the skate, blah blah blah. But it was still nobody's doing that,
No.
right? I heard it on a local radio station as I was driving in. It's like in the history of the Stars, who can do that, right? Like Madonna.
Yeah. Maybe Brett Hall. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if he had that skill set.
No, I
right?
know.
like it's just that's unique. That's a different skill set that not everybody possesses. Like McKinnon could do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really have
McKinnon.
McKinnon.
No, but we got. I think we got the guy, and that's a
Yeah.
guy that, when it comes to there's certain players and athletes in all sports. When it comes to playoffs,
Yeah.
that spotlight, it's their time. And
Oettinger does that.
Oettinger does that too, and Miko is that guy that you want on that line, and that just fuels everybody else to see
And
that
I
magic.
hope Wyatt Johnson's like that. He's
I-
shown signs to be
He
like
has.
that.
He's shown a lot,
Yeah.
I feel, and he's still got a lot more. Ceiling's very high.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited. It was a battle of a series, which we knew it would be. We
Yeah.
thought it would be.
Oh, every series is going to be a battle in this Western Conference.
There is going to be. There's no cakewalk.
No. Like Winnipeg is not going to be easy.
Well, even if we drew Blues, we saw how they did that series with Winnipeg.
Yeah.
They fought them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the Knights Edmonton. Any of those can bring it. It's gonna be draw.
It's a very daunting trek.
It's gonna be. I mean, I think the strongest contender could be out of the West possibly, and that's not being biased. I'm looking at the East, but I mean, I just look at the fight.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Capitals,
Toronto,
still in there.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't looked at all the Eastern Conference teams and how that played
Yeah.
out, but I think that's who I saw when I glanced at it. Right?
Yeah, I think Florida's still in the mix, right?
Florida beat Tampa.
Yeah, Florida's
So-
still in the mix, but
Yeah.
but when I look at like just a grinding battle, I look at the West and
Oh, yeah.
it's scary. And I've seen some experts look at that. The Avs and Stars winner could be those front runners. Not I mean, obviously Jets are number one, but you could also say the inexperienced. The Jets, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. But like you said, hopefully we'll have. It looks like we should be having Miro back and Robinson.
Yes.
So if
So
we
it's
have
like
all of our
two
guys,
trade deadline things right there, right?
our most complete team
Yeah.
since January.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of forget that Miro missed so much time, and he hasn't even played with Miko.
I know.
Like, he was out before we got the trade done, right? So, I believe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, we're not even complete, and we had a killer series. So, let's just keep it up, and it's going to be tough. I need to make at least one game, but I don't know if I can. Yeah.
Well, we do know.
I did not make one in the first round,
You didn't?
unfortunately. No, I didn't go.
Well, we do know we won't have home ice advantage. This Wednesday will be in Winnipeg. I know historically, if you look at the line, it's pretty close. Although I think we have a slight edge, or at least I've seen it gone back and forth. So both minuses, but they are giving us an edge. That could also, we do have a couple days of rest extra.
Yeah, a lot of the, talking heads have picked the Stars in 6 or 7.
Yeah,
So I did hear that. So,
But
I
don't
like
get
the
overconfident.
I like the confidence,
Yeah.
but I also like being the underdog, right?
Yeah.
So,
And this is where we were 2 years ago, actually. So I believe, going
Yeah.
in. So I mean, this is and you kind of have to think with the slump, where would we have been? It doesn't matter. It's a clean slate. It's the playoffs. Hopefully, we have everybody back.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody stays healthy. And once again, you do have one of the best guys on your team when it matters.
yeah, and it just proves to you that these series of playoffs, like whether it's hockey, basketball, or baseball, they're so much fun.
Yeah.
Like when you have a good team that's just, think back to that 2023 Rangers and just how it just, every game was just on the calendar to look forward to, right? And then last year with the Mavericks, every game, and the Stars too,
Yeah.
you're right, but the Mavericks made it one step further. But that was so much fun. And now we get to experience with the Stars again. So let's keep it up and,
I saw someone post, "This is a hockey town." I think it's getting there. I don't know if I can stamp it 100% yet, but I think
Yeah.
there's a lot. I mean, if this team wins a Stanley Cup this year, then I think there's a good chance, or at least it'll help fill that void of what we've seen with the Mavs right now.
Yeah, if the hockey team was smart, they would definitely try to take some of that market share
Oh,
that the
for
Mavs
sure.
have
Yeah.
just totally
For
said,
sure.
hey, take this from us because we
Right.
don't want it anymore.
You want to move? This is our building.
Yeah,
Right.
so they should take that.
Mavs
and I
are going
feel
to
they will.
Vegas anyway.
We never.
Yeah. I've
The ongoing thing.
I've kind of ruled that as that doesn't make any sense, but as time's gone by, I'm more like
They
well,
might
maybe.
be. And you know what? I don't feel like people care as much right now.
No,
The way.
it's subsided a little bit.
Yeah.
Me going to that card show, there were tons of Luka cards. I actually
Yeah.
bought one,
Yeah.
but it's still prevalent there, right? Like you still see all these Lukas in your Mavs jersey, and you're just like, oh.
Okay, speaking of Luka, real quick, Mavs and Lakers out. What an interesting twist of fate. Obviously, we didn't, we got bounced out of the play-in,
Yeah.
but they didn't make it out of the first round.
No, they didn't.
Nope.
Which, by the way, people didn't think that going in this trade, it was going to be their time right now. But still, it is a very interesting storyline.
One of the most frustrating parts about the trade, not that there's few of them, there's plenty of them, but was the Mavericks actually built the team around Luka and said, here are the type of players that Luka needs to succeed, right? Big men that he can throw lobs to, pick and roll stuff, right? The Lakers don't have those guys.
Yeah.
So until they start building their team around Luka, which they will as soon as this free agency period starts, that's when you're going to see the steps getting taken. But yes, when their best big is Jackson Hayes, that's not going to get you far. Now, did I think they could get past Minnesota? Maybe.
Yeah.
But Ant seems to have actually taken a step forward. Maybe he has elevated from a top 15 player to a top 7 or 8 player, which I think is where everybody wants him to be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think the NBA wants him to be there.
Yeah.
Maybe he's there, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that was a tougher matchup than I thought going into it for the Lakers. But the Lakers really do need to start building their team around Luka,
Yeah.
not LeBron.
Yeah.
Right? Which they know that. They're not dumb.
Yeah.
So it's just going to take a year or so.
Yeah, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we'll see who ultimately wins the trade. But
I can tell you.
yeah, I know. I know.
like
I think we
That's
know.
long decided.
I know.
I can't wait for next year or the year after where Luka does to the Mavs what Miko just did to the Avalanche.
For sure.
Which is similar situations.
Well,
Avalanche traded Miko.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And, I mean, man, that Miko game, it was that
Yeah.
revenge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, we're about 12 months away from Luka doing that to the Mavs.
Oh, for sure.
In
For
a
sure.
7-game series, and it's going to be sad, but also deserving,
Yeah.
right?
Can't make bonehead moves. But you
yeah.
know who's not? Jim Neal.
Yeah. So, I mean, even the Avalanche were smart enough to say, we're going to trade you to the East,
Yes.
where we don't have to see
you. I know. You traded him to, where you're going to see him
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah, and then Carolina's like, well, we don't care what your plan was. We're going to trade him right back to the West.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Colorado was very upset at that. But, yeah, the Mavs obviously are like, oh, yeah, we'll play the Lakers 4 times a year and maybe in the playoffs. Right? That's pretty stupid.
Well, going back to this matchup against the Jets, what's your prediction?
I mean, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I thought before the slump, the Stars were the team to beat. I understood the Jets were good, and then we ended the season on a down note with a 8-game losing streak or whatever. But I'm back on board, baby.
Me
let's
too.
go, right? So I do see. I'm going to say Stars in 6.
I'm going to say Stars in 7, just given Jets' benefit. I think it's going to be tough. I think you're right there, too. I mean, either way, it's going to be gritty. But, hey, we know if it goes to 7, how. And I just think the experience factor of the Stars and having someone like Miko, but also having Miro in that, I think we're going to have all the right pieces.
I think so. I think the Stars pull it out. I think getting those players back, Robinson and Miro, is going to add a little juice. Now, we just went through the same thing the Jets did, a slugfest, right?
Yeah.
They went through a slugfest. They went Game 7, 2 overtimes. I don't think that really matters, right? But
no.
The Blues and Winnipeg were knocking each other down, right? Like they were hitting. Colorado's a little bit more finesse than the Blues, so maybe the Stars didn't take a beating as much as like Winnipeg did. So maybe that plays in our favor. But, I mean, a team with McKinnon, they're going to have some players that hit hard, but they're going to be a more finesse team, right?
Yeah.
McCarr and McKinnon, right? So I don't know if just the wear and tear. The Stars are a bigger team than
And
Avalanche.
DeBoer's got that coaching experience right here. I just think this is, and honestly, before that slump, we were the red hot team in the whole league.
So just kind of taking that out of the equation, which I know you really can't.
Yeah.
But like going back before that, I was like, the Stars are the best team.
They are.
Like they're the team to beat in the West and probably the NHL.
Yeah.
right? Like, so I'm going to kind of revert back to that and say I'm back on board. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
and I don't even think it's really the cool. I think we just need to see that first round be like
Yeah.
that. And now knowing, okay, we knew we had to, like, get to where we can get Miro back. Now
100.
we did it.
Yeah,
And the way
100%.
we've done it, we know we can overcome adversity.
Yeah.
And we make those adjustments, and we know what we can do. So, all right, we'll see. But game one
I'm
this
excited.
Wednesday, I'm ready. Second round of hockey.
We
Let's
need to start doing
go.
some meetups as
I
we
know.
progress into the playoffs.
Yes.
I mean,
We
getting
will.
tickets to the game, but like let's
I'm
meet
for
up.
it.
Yeah, just watching parties, right?
Yep.
Because
I-
I didn't really organize any of those in round one,
Yeah.
but I would like to.
I think round one was just so nerve-wracking.
I think it was more nervous. Like, honestly, it was more of, God, I'm going to watch it, but I'm scared, especially after game one, right?
Yeah.
Game one didn't help the
No.
fear. But then games 2 and 3 did. So
Well,
as it progressed, you kind of got more confidence, right?
oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that game 7 really jacked you up.
Yeah.
So, no, super excited. Yeah, let's definitely do some watch. And, hey, guys, we'll post where we're going and watch.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you come hang out with us, chill with us.
It
So,
might
yeah.
be here. It might be Brandon's house. It might be the pool. You never know.
Never know. It
And-
could be anywhere.
I know it's pool time, man.
We could go over to Burger King. Who knows?
That's right. Get
Actually,
wild.
Veto. I'm
Get a
not-
Whopper.
I'm out. I'm out on that.
All right, so moving on to other Dallas sports news. The Rangers, Brandon.
Ooh.
I know this has been
Baseball.
a little bit sore for us. We were leading division. Now we're towards the bottom.
Well, granted, the division's pretty bunched up.
It
right?
is. It is. To be fair.
Seattle
I'll put it to
is
be fair.
leading, and they, having a winning series against us helped inflate their record a little bit. But
True.
But everybody's just kind of right there, so nobody's running away with it. But something needed to happen with that offense. I'm. If you would have talked to me, 15 years ago and been like, the Rangers' problem is actually their offense. Their pitching is really good. I'd have been like, no, you're high.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the world we're living in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the pitching's been really good.
Yeah.
Barring a start here from Rocker or, Leiter
Yeah.
coming back and struggling a little bit. But overall, pitching's been on point. But, man, if you have 6 people in your lineup batting under 200,
Oh, that's rough.
like that's so tough to overcome that. When your best player, and I think I mentioned this to you before, is where I'm not super sold on him, but your best batter is Josh Smith,
Yeah.
right? And I mean,
Your utility player,
your
essentially.
utility player should not be your best batter. Now, granted, Seager just now came back,
Yeah.
right? He was on the IL for a little bit. And Langford's been good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to discount what
Yeah.
Langford's done. I think he's actually had a pretty good start to the season, even with his short IL stint.
Yeah.
But your Simeons and your Himes and, Josh Young, even, they got to start stepping it up, and it's timely hitting. There was a game against Oakland last week where they left like 14 people on base,
Yeah.
right? Like in scoring position. Like, you cannot do that and be a serious contender.
No. When you're looking across the conference and Dodgers and
Yeah.
well, just even in conference, I mean the Yankees and or all of them, like
Yeah.
they're all
teams
stepping
like
up.
Seattle. Teams
Yeah,
like,
Seattle. That's a good one, right in
teams
our
like,
division.
The Guardians and Twins have been struggling a little bit, but
Orioles not too bad.
Orioles
Yeah.
and Red Sox, like all of these teams, like they get base hits when they need to, right?
Yeah.
Toronto, the same thing. Like Vladdy had a walk-off home run the other day, right? Like those are the kind of things you need, and our team's just not getting them. And it's to the point where I don't have confidence that anybody's gonna get them,
I know.
right? Like,
So
and that hurts.
they have made a change. They
A couple, but yeah.
they brought in a hitting coach today. Brett Boone. So
Yep.
we'll see.
We'll see. It's a long season. There's time to adjust, right? Maybe a new voice in there will help. And it's not like it's unproven players like Seager, Simeon. These are Garcia, they're veteran players. They know how to hit. They didn't just forget.
Yeah.
There are some that I'm worried about. They sent Berger down.
Mm-hmm.
I think hopefully he can kind of get going down there. And then, of course, Jock is struggling more than I'm more worried about Jock.
Yeah, it's been rough.
When you're a one-trick pony, right, like Jock throughout his career, and it's been a long career,
Yeah.
his party trick is he hits the ball really far.
Yeah.
When he barrels up the ball, his bat speed makes the ball go really far.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. But once you get age doesn't wait for anybody.
No.
So at some point you lose just a tick on that bat speed.
Yeah.
And once you do that and you're a one-trick pony, it might be hard to recover from that. So that's what I'm a little worried about Jock is Berger, he's young enough where I think that bat speed's still there. Mm-hmm. But Jock is twilight of his career. And once that bat speed starts going, players that just hit home runs like he does,
Yeah.
you can get worried about that.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
I'm a little worried about Jock.
Yeah, I just wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to make any moves? Like, what can you do, right?
Well, they're
this
bringing
soon?
Evan Carter back up.
Yeah, I saw that, so that's
He
good.
still can't hit lefties, but
Okay.
he can hit righties pretty well.
He can move, though. Or, well, we'll see.
He's
Maybe.
fast, and he can play the outfield. I mean, as long as his back doesn't keep giving him problems. I mean,
It's just tough.
23-year-olds with back problems is not a good sign, right?
No.
Like that's a red flag that cannot be ignored.
Yeah, no, it's pretty. I know we have one of our guys, former player Danny, on, and he immediately when that happened, he's like, "That's not good."
No, it's not. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I think he'll do fine. I don't think he's the answer.
No.
Right? The answer is your veterans like Simeon, Adolis, Heim, Young, which they're more role players anyway. But,
Yeah.
But especially your Simeons and Seegers and Adolis need to battle their way back to their prominent position in the lineup. Mm-hmm. Right? Like if you want to just bat Wyatt second,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me. He is a number 2 hitter on most teams, I think.
Yeah.
And he will be as his career progresses. Like,
Yeah.
2-hole seems good for him.
yeah,
But Simeon has to work his way back to leadoff.
yeah,
Seager has to be in that 3-hole, right? Or
Yeah.
you could reverse him and Wyatt, that's fine, right? But those have to be like your top 3 somewhere.
Yeah.
And then after that, cleanup hitter has to be somebody like Adolis, right? Or Berger if he comes back, like some
Yeah.
pop, right? Like you have to get that lineup back to the way it was envisioned and getting production out of it.
yeah,
Because if you can set the lineup, Bochy can set the lineup
Yeah.
that way, but if there's no production coming out of it, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where we need to go before some of these Cinderella pitchers, not that that's DeGrom or Eovaldi, I think there's veterans that can stay pitching well,
yeah,
but before Leiter or, Rockers on the IL right now, but before they kind of come back down to earth. Molly, who's had a great start to the season. I mean, I think he's top 3 in ERA,
Yeah.
all that, right? Is that fool's gold, or is he going to be able to keep that up? He's always had a high strikeout rate.
I mean, I hope it's not fool's gold.
Exactly. So is he going to regress back to the mean of where he belongs,
Yeah.
right? We probably need to start getting some hits before that happens, right?
No, we need some hits, guys. Come on,
Because if we're expecting to just win 2-1,
Tanner. What do you think?
Where the bats?
I know.
Where are the bats?
torpedo
Where the
bats?
bats
Go to Bullsark and have them create a shirt that says "Where are the bats?"
Where the bats?
Where the bats? Well, hopefully
Where the
things.
bats at?
Hopefully we can get the hits coming. So
The good news, the silver lining on all of this, is we're still roughly around 500.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it could be a lot worse.
It could
right? Big series against Boston starting tomorrow in Fenway. Wish I was there. That'd be awesome.
that
but-
should be a motto for all Dallas sports. It could be a lot
It
worse.
could be a lot worse.
Could be worse.
But nobody's running away with the division. Like I said, the Astros are treading water just like we are. Seattle's dangerous,
Yeah.
especially with their pitching. Their pitching is top notch, and if Julio and Kyle Raleigh still hit like they've been.
Yeah.
Or Kyle Raleigh, if Julio gets on board with hitting like he
Yeah.
should, and Kyle Raleigh hits like he's been hitting, they're dangerous.
Yeah.
Astros will still be dangerous. The Angels, Ron Washington, he's the leader of men, but Trout's hurt again. Like,
Always.
I just don't have high hopes they'll keep it up.
No, I think I could see them kind of staying where they are, fizzle right there.
And Oakland's playing, or the A's are
Yeah.
playing in a minor league ballpark all year, right?
Yeah.
So
See how that
that's
holds
probably-
up?
I mean, that's probably good for them.
Yeah,
right?
maybe. Yeah, it's anybody's division, really.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's running away with it. That's
No.
silver lining.
So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. All right, so staying in Dallas sports because it's been about a week we didn't get to cover it. The NFL draft wrapped up now about 2 weeks ago, but now we're getting to Ricky mini camps. And Brandon, how did you feel about the draft?
I mean, the big story obviously was Shedeur.
Yes.
Falling. The slide
Yes.
from Shedeur was
To fifth.
it had me.
Sorry, no Cowboys, Tanner. No
He's
Cowboys.
going to be a cowboy.
It
Y'all are
had
clowning.
me tuned in more than what the Cowboys were doing for some reason, right? Just because I can look at my phone and see
Yeah.
what happened with the Cowboys pick, right? Especially after the first day or
Yeah.
day 2 or whatever.
Hey, real quick, those pranks,
Oh.
hilarious.
Oh, the pranks.
Yeah, I mean,
Hilarious.
they're dick moves, but it's a
Hilarious.
prank call. It's harmless,
Right.
more or less.
All these apologies going around, people
Yeah.
talking about losing jobs. Horse shit. That
Yeah.
shit was funny.
Now,
Keep it up.
allowing confidential information to be
Yeah.
leaked like that, even to your son, okay, it's probably a finable offense.
Yes.
Not a fireable, but finable.
Yeah.
Sure.
But overall is a pretty harmless prank.
Right.
Whatever. It's embarrassing for Shedeur or whoever else got called, but
My
whatever.
thing, the Browns, they go with Dylan Gabriel, I think third round.
I don't
round.
know what the Browns
I
are
think it
doing.
was third round, and now picking up Shedeur. So now you have Joe Flacco who's returning.
Yeah.
You have Kenny Pickett. You
Yeah.
have Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur. You have and technically Deshaun, Watson's,
Well, he's
but
there.
still. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3. That's what, 4 quarterbacks
Yeah.
right now, active quarterbacks right
Yeah.
now,
The quarterback room is full.
like pretty full.
I don't have a problem with them picking Gabriel. I thought
don't.
where they picked him
But
was
Shedeur
fine.
just kind of, I don't get that.
It screamed to me, the owner came in and said, okay, we got to end this.
Yeah.
Pick him. Pick that guy.
We'll have them battle
He's
it.
there. It's the 5th round. Whatever. Just pick him. So he kind of played the trump card, I think,
Yeah.
and just said, do what I say. Right?
Yeah.
That's how it read to me.
It's just so, I don't know. Like, it's just so
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, and I feel like you're wasting one of these guys.
Well, the Browns are going to
opportunities.
Brown.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
I mean, I would expect it
They
from
got 2
no
running
other-
backs, too.
Yeah, I would expect it from no other organization, right? Like, if you said, hey, this is what's going to happen with a team in the draft, and you
Yeah.
just laid out that whole scenario, can you guess what team did that? I'd be like, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only team that would do that. Or the Jets. The Jets might.
I mean, I'm surprised Miami went as long as they did without grabbing a quarterback. Like, I could see a Dylan Gabriel there, or maybe Shedeur. Like, they went with Quinn Ewers in the 7th, which, man, talk about all the money he walked away from.
I mean, a lot of times people are like, they should stay in college one more year to
Yeah.
get a little more seasoning. He should have
Should-
left. He should have left a year early. I still think he might be okay, to be honest. I think it might have been a system thing in Texas that just didn't really jive with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's decent in the NFL. Now, winning Super Bowls, probably not, but
Hey, you know what? He could be a Ryan Fitzpatrick.
the projection was there at some point,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's not like it's never been there,
Yeah.
right? So at some point, somebody said this guy's a top first-round talent, right?
Yeah.
So it's there. He obviously took a regression and step back, or a couple steps back, but it's buried somewhere there, right? It's not like it's just doesn't exist. It's there.
I was just a little surprised that he fell as far as he did, but I think part of that has to do with a lot of the teams that I thought he would go to are already in free agency started, I saw the Jets were a team he possibly, I think, talked to. I mean, they still could have gone that route. We just saw Jordan Travis is retiring. Obviously we never got to see him elevate.
Yeah.
But, then, the Raiders, like there's some that maybe like I could see him. I saw him falling. I thought he would fall as far as at least 4.
Yeah, I thought I wouldn't have been surprised if he went, fourth. I'm not fourth, but maybe fifth, sixth round.
Yeah, 7th, that was a little
Seventh was a
further
little
than I
further.
thought. But, I mean, that just tells you, I think, the unsurety. But also, yeah, once again, when you look at that Dylan Gabriel and you look at that Shador situation, it's like, man, that doesn't make sense.
It was a weak quarterback class. I get that, but it's still the quarterback position is so important.
I'm surprised Carolina, and here's the reason. I think Bryce took a little bit better leap forward last year, but I don't know that I feel like they're 100% on him completely.
No, but it just comes down to, are they more sold on him than what's available, right? It's
Yeah.
just that juggling act.
Well, then that tells you about where people, the whole Shador.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if Shador's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I think he has some red flags that don't translate well, right?
Yeah.
But overall, sliding to the 5th is really surprising to me.
That was surprising.
But if he would have went in the top 3 or 10 or even the first round, I'd have been like, that's kind of a reach.
And I wasn't surprised Brown's taking him, but I thought he was going to be in the second round. Like they're like, okay, we got it.
Yeah.
He's our guy. We'll have him and Kenny battle that. But the fact that they went to Dylan Gabriel, nothing against, I like Dylan Gabriel, and then Shador, I'm like, come on.
And, their worst move of the draft was the trade.
Yeah.
Because honestly, why do you not take Travis Hunter?
I know.
You have to take Travis Hunter there. He's
Travis
there.
Hunter and Myles Garrett, that's crazy to pass up on.
Yes.
You just don't
If you
normally
draft an
get that
offensive
gold.
lineman, like we can transition to the Cowboys here. So where the Cowboys drafted the offensive lineman makes a little bit more sense,
Yeah.
right? It's a guard.
Yeah.
And I think we were texting back and forth,
Yes.
and it's just not sexy at all, right? Like,
It's not,
not
but-
selling jerseys. I get that.
But you did lose Zach Martin.
But if he's the best player on your board and you can't trade back, because I do think they wanted to trade back.
No, yeah, they talked about, like, I think they
With
were looking at Walter
Houston,
Nolan.
yeah.
They wanted Ted. Ted was the guy.
Yeah,
But
Carolina
that
screwed
was
it up.
kind of a reach, too.
Yeah.
Like, I was, like, wishful thinking that he was
Yeah.
going to fall
Yeah,
down.
like-
Saints or Carolina were grabbing him.
Yeah, and they did.
They
Carolina
did.
grabbed him, and then I was like, oh. So at that point, I was kind of talking myself into Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Like another pass-catching threat that is more, receiver than tight end.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I kind of, was talking myself into that.
And then Golden, that's a guy that you could probably drop back for if you could.
Yeah.
And same with Emeka and even and then Vernon, who slipped into the second round. Those are guys you could probably drop down for.
And that's the thing. I think everybody wanted to drop back, right? So if
Yeah.
everybody wants to fall back, how are you moving up if nobody's going to trade with you?
I was surprised Jalen Walker fell so far down.
yeah.
And Malachi, so these guys were like, well, of course, mock drafts don't matter, but these guys were high on a lot of people's drafts, but obviously that's not where we were going, and I'll after hearing Tyler Booker speak, I'm like, all right, I love you, man.
He sold me pretty quickly.
And Dak does need the protection.
Yeah, it was a need.
Yeah, it was a
right?
need. It was a
So
need.
if he's the best player on your board and you can't move back 5 or 6 spots to get him,
Yeah.
because I think they had an offer where they could have moved back like 13 spots,
Yeah.
but then they wouldn't be able to get him at 13,
Yeah.
right? Or at 25 would have been
Well-
the pick, right? So they're like not offering the full value. So yeah, tell Houston to go screw themselves, hang up, and make the pick that you want.
Yeah.
Right? So I have no problem with what they did.
Well, and it's one of those. There's a lot of obviously needs that could have happened at 12, but I mean, yeah, they got their guy that's ready to go, healthy,
Plug and
100%.
play.
And we're, obviously, Guyton's still a little bit of a work in progress, but here you have a guy ready to go.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we need, especially when your $60 million quarterback's coming back off of an injury.
Yeah, and I think they did enough in free agency with some small pieces
Exactly.
where they didn't have to focus on a position.
Exactly.
And I think that really helped.
Now, of course, the question is wide receiver 2. That was one thing that they didn't dress least in this draft.
No.
Now, with that, we're still in the whole trade free agency market still. Name that I've seen circle around could return back. This isn't 100%, but a name to look at, a guy like Amari Cooper, who, we know he's got that chemistry. Him and CD have been together. He's that big body guy. Is he where he left? I don't know, but I think he's still a better option than what we really have right now in a receiver room. Because I don't look at this receiver room as of right now, and I'm like, okay, we have a true number one, true wide receiver too.
Well, I agree. I think in a perfect world, want Mingo to be that.
Yeah.
I don't think as a fan base anybody's seen that.
Yeah.
Like even a glimpse of it. But I think that's what they're hoping for. Because honestly, he hasn't even had a training camp with us. Like, there are reasons for them to sell that to us. Not that I'm buying it, but Jerry's a salesman, and that's what he's going to try to sell to us. Okay?
Or make up for what, given up. 4th round, we saw this with Trey
exactly.
Lance. It's
So,
like, you just, hey, you gotta stay on that hill. But they did mention about some, don't be surprised we do some trades. So,
yeah, so back to Amari.
yeah.
I understand that, but I'm pretty concerned that Buffalo didn't even play him in crunch time of a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
There's been personality locker room stuff, too, people have talked about. I mean, I will say I would have to see what the options are. Obviously, Mari, you have Keenan Allen, but the one thing you got to worry about injury. I think Rashad Bateman is out there, I believe. I could be wrong. I thought I heard his name out there.
I've heard Kenny Pickett's name. Not Kenny Pickett. I can't even think of the name. Steeler receiver.
Well, George Pickens, but
George
I haven't
Pickens.
seen any validity or 100% on
Yeah.
that. And you're going to have to
he's
give up
head
a
case.
lot.
He's a head case.
Yeah. Well, regardless of that, you're giving up a whole lot, and I don't think the Cowboys want to give up a whole lot. Or maybe just another 4th.
Give up Mingo.
Yeah. But I'm going to say this. There is a guy that they picked up undrafted, Trayshawn
I haven't
Harden,
seen this.
so out of Oregon.
Okay.
So undrafted. I like his stats. We'll see. I mean, we've seen guys, Cole Beasley, we've seen guys come in, have been tested. We've done well with undrafted. So, obviously there's a guy out there that did not get drafted, Isaiah Bond, but obviously that's because of allegations.
Yeah, there's
so
some
we'll
legal
see.
issues there.
But that guy is a good receiver.
Yeah.
But we have to wait and see. So, I mean, there's some options out there. I just don't feel sold yet. And I feel like I think, obviously, I'm excited about our running back. I do like Jaden Blue.
Yeah.
He may not be at the top, but he's quick.
Yeah.
I've seen comparisons to Tony Pollard. That's fine with me. They did get Phil Maffa. Is that it?
Maffa.
He's a power back. We'll see. And then you do have Javonte Williams, although somebody's not making the roster between.
No, Miles Sanders won't make the roster,
Yeah.
I don't think. And we've probably seen the last of our little guy. Whatever
Yeah,
his
Deuce
name-
Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn, yeah.
What about Hunter?
Lipke?
It depends.
Depends.
He may be a
I don't know how
specialty.
Shoddy likes
The
fullback.
fullbacks. Well, we didn't like fullbacks as much as
Yeah.
we should have had some.
Yeah. So, overall for the Cowboys, I actually like their draft.
Yeah.
Going in, I obviously wanted more position players, skill positions. We need a wide receiver too. We need a
Yeah.
running back. But I understand Saquon changed his whole vision of running back
Yeah.
in a lot of people's eyes. But he's a one of one, right? Like, you weren't getting a Saquon.
Yeah.
So after that, it is a little plug and play for running back position, right? So can Jaden Blue and Maffa and Javonte Williams do what you need them to do? I would say it's over 50% chance that they can.
Honestly, it could be just exactly how we left off with Pollard, Zeke.
Exactly, right?
Or
can they do what we need them to
Yeah.
do? I would say probably.
And that's how Shoddy likes. We
Yeah.
know the run, and you got your guard there. And we're going to – but here's where a lot of pressure is going to come outside the run. This is a contract year for – you mentioned Tyler Warren. This is a contract year for Jake Ferguson.
Yep.
We really, really need him to step up in order for me to, be, hey. Especially what we see with some of these tight ends. I mean, Colston is another guy, Loveland, out of Michigan, we saw get drafted. So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
we need a We need a big year out of him. He
We
could be
need-
that guy with Dak. I know we don't have, depending on how the wide receiver room.
I'll play devil's advocate to
Yeah.
that a little bit. We either need a really big, consistent year or him to prove that he's not worth it.
Yeah. And
Because if that's the
Yeah.
case, I would rather that and us actually start looking at that position next offseason than him have a contract year, us sign him long term, and then him regress back to what he's
No.
doing, right? Like, I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm right there. And I'll tell you a guy last year who actually looked good, Spangleford.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's some competition there, but I'm excited for the run game. I'm
Yeah,
really excited to see what we do there.
Yeah. I think what they got can actually service, right? I don't think it's going to compete with Saquon in Philly.
Yeah.
Because their run game is top notch. But ours will work. Now, our passing game, I agree with you. We need a number 2
Yeah,
receiver.
and we
But the
still have
draft
some
didn't
time.
fall that way.
No, but
It just didn't fall. And I like the defensive end, the edge rusher we picked in the second round. And I like the cornerback in the third.
well,
So I thought it fell.
Donovan Azaroka, man, that guy looks
Yeah.
like a beast. So,
Yeah.
and
They got value in both of those picks.
all right, so moving on from the
Okay.
draft, we both like the draft.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap things up here with some wrestling talk.
Heck
We'll-
yeah,
we'll
the
keep
main
We'll
event.
keep it quick, but we have WWE Backlash this coming Saturday. Main event in St. Louis. John Cena, the now undisputed champion, taking on Randy Orton, the hometown guy, the legend killer.
Legend killer.
Also on this card, we have the United States title, Fatal 4-Way. We also should know if we're going to have Logan Paul versus Jey Uso for the heavyweight.
I would assume that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I think
Break a neck.
that's a good first
Paul.
opponent for Jay. Right? Because you don't expect Logan Paul to win.
Yeah.
You're going to allow Jay to have at least one successful title defense. And
Yeah.
Logan's not going to lose any heel heat, right?
No.
It's a perfect opponent for him first.
And then Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental. And Mr. Pat McAfee and the Ring
Gunther,
General.
The Ring General.
Gunther.
And tag team women match, which I'm actually very excited
Yes.
about. Rhea and Io versus Julia and Roxanne Perez.
Well, there you go. So that's going to be a stat card. Prediction. We'll do a couple predictions here. Let's go United States title, Fatal 4-way, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre.
Fatu retains, pins Damian Priest.
Okay. I go with Jacob, too. I think his ceiling's high. I think we're going to see a face turn here in the near future, I think.
Yeah, I think the fans are really pushing for that. I don't think they can keep him as a heel much longer. I could see him going into a feud with Solo. I could see Drew going into a feud with LA Knight.
All right. Becky's healed now. She's taking on Lyra, her protege, so to speak.
Yeah.
Who goes over in that?
I think Lyra does because Becky doesn't need the championship. She doesn't need a mid-card championship. She's there to elevate it and give Lyra a good win with that belt, right? That's how they're going to elevate that title, is to let Lyra get some wins against good competition, which she has not done yet.
And our fellow podcaster, Mr. Pat McAfee and Gunther, who goes over?
It has to be Gunther, right? Like, losing to Jay by submitting at WrestleMania made sense in the moment.
Yeah.
But you can't have such a dominant character like Gunther lose to an announcer. You can't do that. I expect it to be a pretty short match because
Why
Or
can't
no
you do that?
disqualification. You could do disqualification, or something happens.
yeah, like it's going to be stopped because if Pat wins, it's because Gunther just won't release a chokehold and gets disqualified, right?
I could see that.
I could see that more than Pat pinning him,
Yeah.
right? Like, that ain't going to happen.
You know. Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, crazy things happen.
Yeah.
And then, hypothetically, if we do see Logan versus Jay, if that happens,
Yeah. It's definitely Jay. Again, I think that's a perfect first opponent for Jay because I don't expect Jay to hold the title long.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the mic skills to carry Raw for an extended amount of time.
Correct.
I love the fact they gave him the title. Getting over as well as he's gotten over is very hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, not many people have gotten over to the level Jay has gotten over. And I'm talking about the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, so give him the title. It won't be extended because he doesn't have the mic skills to carry the brand. So I could see him losing it to Seth in a couple of months. I think that's the guy that's going to take it from him with the new faction that started. But he'll beat Logan because nobody wants Logan as a championship either, right? That doesn't make sense.
Women's tag team, you mentioned it.
I'm an EO guy.
Yeah.
I love EO, and
Yeah.
I love Rhea. I want them to go over, but it's going to be hard to just bring Julia and Roxanne up and not give them a little bit of rub on that, unless it'll probably be a shenanigan.
Yeah.
Rhea accidentally hits EO, and then they cost them. You know what I mean? Some
Because
kind
their
of shenanigans,
storyline's
right?
still
Yeah.
ongoing, I feel. the
Yeah,
whole
like I
Rhea,
don't think they're
yeah.
gonna get a clean win.
No.
I would like to see that, but I think Roxanne and Julia gets the victory. And I think Tiffany Stratton goes over Nia.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to keep her for a little bit
Yeah.
longer. Finally, the main event, John Cena taking on Randy, which they've had so much history in this business, so many great matches throughout the years. You know, a lot of people felt, or at least, hey, maybe Randy could be the last opponent for John Cena. Obviously, they're wrestling right now, which
Yeah.
makes sense in St. Louis.
In St. Louis.
But that doesn't mean the chapter can't end at the end of the
They can
year.
circle back to it.
I think John's going over.
Yeah,
Regardless.
I don't see him just having the
the-
championship for less than a month.
Yeah. Shenanigans, though, I think.
Shenanigans. I don't know if he's going to get many clean wins as a heel.
No.
Like, that's not the character he's
No.
portraying at all.
No. Maybe some Travis Scott
I
involvement
hope
again.
not. I hope not, but
and maybe
I can't
Bad
roll
Bunny
it out.
comes out, and we have a Travis Scott
Ooh,
Bad Bunny.
if we get a Homelander Cody
Yeah,
at some point, that would be awesome.
that would be.
But I could see Cody coming back in a month or two.
Yeah.
Because in wrestling, nothing makes the heart grow fonder than absence, right? So as soon as somebody's gone for an extended amount of time,
Roman.
as soon as that stinger hits, the pop is crazy.
Well, and he's been at it. I mean, Cody's done such a good job defending house shows, live events.
Yeah.
It was time. And usually when
He
you see
needed-
a title
he needed
drop,
vacation. Yeah.
it's vacation time. He's
Yeah.
deserved it.
No, I have no problem with it. He'll be gone for a couple of months, and as soon as the wrestling has more than one royal family hits, like the crowd will go crazy, right?
Him and Cena's story
Yeah.
are gonna, and they're gonna probably wrap up somehow. All right, that's WWE Backlash this coming Saturday, St. Louis. Tanner, you got anything you want to add in here?
Go John Cena.
Go John Cena.
You're a fan of the heel, John Cena?
You know what's crazy though? Randy Orton's just gonna be wrestling himself in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you can't see Cena.
that's true. Oh yeah,
That joke will never die,
that's right. Oh boy,
which is
Man,
why
let me
he
tell
hates
you-
everybody now.
those drops. Big fan.
Yeah.
Big ole fan.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
can tell you're doing great over there.
I'm having a pretty chill space time.
If you
I'll
want to
have to try
sponsor
more
Tanner
of
over
these.
here.
yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll
Oh.
try your products.
There's one thing we forgot to plug, Tanner.
What's
You're
that?
here Wednesday nights. Karaoke. Throw it
Oh,
back.
yeah.
That's right. We have new time,
Okay.
9 to 12:30.
9 to 12:30. All right.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
We get a little service industry pop. It's super fun.
Wednesday nights?
Wednesday nights.
Heck yeah.
There
Come
you-
get wild.
Come get wild.
What do
well,
you start with on your karaoke nights now?
What do I start with?
Yeah, what's
Lately,
on
it's been Paul Hardcastle, Rainforest.
Nice.
Other times, it's I like Jam On It by Nucleus.
okay.
Okay.
This little tip for you DJs out there. You can play My Boo by the Ghost Town DJs in any bad situation, and you've won everybody back. Works 100% of the time.
There you go. There you go.
DJ tips.
Well,
That's right.
guys,
DJ Tanner.
once again, happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
Hey,
good to
happy
be
Cinco de
back.
Mayo. Cheers.
Until next time.
All right.